Welcome to Geopolitics AI. Today, we're delving into the world of semiconductors, the tiny chips that are quite literally the backbone of modern technology. Semiconductors are everywhere, in our smartphones, computers, vehicles, medical devices, and even military equipment. These small, wafer-thin chips are what allow billions of devices to perform complex operations at incredible speeds, shaping our world in ways we rarely notice. So why are semiconductors so important? Think of them as the brains behind every electronic device, and without them, our digital world would come to a halt. They enable everything from computing power to connectivity, making them essential to technological advancement and economic growth. As we move further into the age of AI, 5G, and IoT, semiconductors are becoming even more crucial. The semiconductor industry itself is dominated by a handful of major players who shape this multi-billion-dollar market. At the top, we have companies like TSMC from Taiwan, Samsung from South Korea, and Intel from the United States. TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, is particularly important as it produces over 50% of the world's advanced chips. Meanwhile, Samsung and Intel are also leaders, each pushing the limits of what chips can do, helping to drive the evolution of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and the broader digital economy. Given their crucial role, these semiconductor giants don't just impact the tech world, they influence entire nations. Countries with strong semiconductor industries hold significant power globally, allowing them to set trends in technology and dictate market terms. But more than that, the economic and political clout that comes with a robust semiconductor industry is immense. Taiwan, for instance, has become a key geopolitical player, not just for its strategic location, but also because of TSMC's dominance. This global dependence on semiconductors is one of the reasons we see tech-related tensions rising between major economies. Now, at the heart of this industry is a lesser-known but highly influential company from the Netherlands, ASML. Let's talk a little bit about the chip-making process before we talk about ASML. Lithography is the process used to print the tiny, intricate patterns on silicon wafers that become the circuits in a semiconductor chip. Essentially, it's the blueprint process, where billions of tiny transistors are printed onto each chip to control electrical signals. This process requires extreme precision, especially as chips get smaller and more complex. Photolithography, the main technique used today, works by shining light through a pattern called a mask or reticle onto a silicon wafer. The light's energy transfers the pattern, creating the detailed circuitry that makes these chips work. It's almost like developing a photo but at a microscopic scale. The wavelengths of light used are crucial here. Shorter wavelengths allow for smaller and more precise features. That's where ASML comes in. ASML has developed the most advanced form of lithography available today, known as extreme ultraviolet, EUV lithography. EUV uses extremely short wavelengths of light, just 13.5 nanometers, enabling it to print exceptionally fine details onto chips. This technology is essential for producing the latest, most powerful processors and memory chips, helping manufacturers create faster, smaller, and more efficient chips. ASML's EUV machines are highly complex, made up of thousands of parts, and each can cost well over $100 million. This technology is so specialized and intricate that ASML is currently the only company in the world that can produce EUV machines. This monopoly has placed ASML at the center of the semiconductor industry, making it a critical player that's essential to companies like TSMC, Samsung, and Intel, which rely on this technology to manufacture advanced chips. ASML's technology has become indispensable for major chip manufacturers like TSMC, Samsung, and Intel, giving ASML an almost unshakable position in the semiconductor supply chain. However, ASML's dominance isn't unchallenged, and there are growing concerns that it could lose its crown. As we look to the future, a new player is attempting to capture its piece of the semiconductor industry, and that's China. China has long been a global manufacturing powerhouse, but it relies heavily on imports for advanced semiconductors, particularly from the United States and Taiwan. This dependency puts China in a vulnerable position, especially with rising geopolitical tensions. So for China, gaining semiconductor independence is not just an economic goal, it's a strategic priority. This ambition has led China to invest heavily in its domestic semiconductor industry, aiming to reduce its reliance on foreign technology. China's government has put billions of dollars into research, subsidies, and partnerships with tech companies to accelerate chip development. Initiatives like the Made in China 2025 plan specifically target advancements in technology and semiconductor independence. In fact, China is building entire technology parks and providing significant financial support to local chip makers to ensure that they can compete globally. However, catching up in semiconductors is easier said than done. The semiconductor industry requires years of research, complex technical knowledge, and cutting-edge manufacturing equipment. For years, ASML has been restricted from selling its most advanced EUV technology to China due to export controls enforced by the Dutch government and the US. These controls are rooted in Western jealousy and unfair trade practices, fearing China further gaining a technological edge. This restriction has created a bottleneck for China, preventing it from reaching the same level of chip production as other global leaders. Despite these obstacles, China is making progress. Chinese companies like SMIC, the Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, are already producing chips, although not at the level of TSMC or Samsung. China's approach has been to innovate with the resources it has, developing new techniques and pushing forward with its own research to become less reliant on ASML's EUV technology. And with enough time and investment, China is confident it can close this technological gap. So why is China pushing so hard to capture this industry? The answer lies in both economic power and national security. Semiconductors are crucial for modern defense, communications, and intelligence systems. For China, control over semiconductor production would mean not only economic independence, but also enhanced security. It would reduce the country's vulnerability to external pressures or sanctions and allow it to compete on a level playing field in the global tech landscape. Beyond security, China sees semiconductors as the foundation for future technological dominance. Control over chips would allow China to lead advancements in fields like AI, autonomous driving, and next-gen telecommunications. And if China succeeds, it could potentially shift the balance of technological and economic power on a global scale. Implications for ASML and the semiconductor landscape. This rise of China in the semiconductor sector creates a serious potential challenge for ASML and other established players. If China develops its own lithography technology, ASML's current advantage could diminish over time. Ultimately, China's pursuit of semiconductor independence is reshaping the industry, introducing new competitors, and sparking global debate over technology, security, and the future of digital power. ASML, which once held a virtually unchallenged position, now faces both direct and indirect challenges from a rapidly advancing China. Only time will tell if ASML can hold its place at the top of this critical sector, or if China will succeed in carving out its own path to semiconductor independence. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more geopolitical news and trends.